gosh, if I had been watching what I was eating during this last 2 months when I've been working out like a fiend, like I'd be at my perfect weight. But, I'm having Christmas cookies and I'm enjoying life and I'm having a glass of wine and I'm definitely smaller than I was, but not dramatically. And then this all goes back to a summer vacation when I was probably 11 or 12. And so my dad had just remarried, and I was in this is the stepmother you've heard about before, the young, beautiful, perfect one. And we did this lake vacation, and we were, there were boats of every variety. We went water skiing and swimming, and me and my brothers were just like going like mad the whole time. And so it was sort of like this very similar feeling of feeling very strong and very fit and tan and, just like exhausted at the end of every day. I made a comment like, isn't it great, like when you can have Oreos after dinner because you water skied all day, And my stepmother said, oh yes, but just imagine what you would look like if you didn't have the Oreos. Like if you were having that amount of exercise and not indulging. So it like took all the fun out of it. And it was like this idea that like I couldn't be normal, that and it's still, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it's an echo or a thing, but it's still stuck. Like I still hear that voice in my mind, like, gosh, I could have lost my last 10 pounds during this layoff time. I could have made really good use of being unemployed if I had, stuck to a meal plan and done all this crazy exercise.
Okay, so what I hear you doing is a very all or nothing approach. And we know that you do this because you've been doing this for a long time. So it's I'm perfect. I'm either perfect and sticking to the plan perfectly, or I'm off and I'm off the plan and I should be ashamed of myself and I'm beating myself up and I'm eating cookies. There's no kind of middle ground. And for you and for your body and for the sweet spot in life, it's in the middle ground. And it's about making choices based on the situation and in relationship with your body. So for instance, I eat pretty healthy most of the time. And I don't eat gluten and I don't eat, like if I go out to breakfast, I definitely don't get pancakes or French toast or anything like that. It's just not something I do. However, if I'm at brunch with my girlfriends and there's 5 of us and somebody orders gluten-free French toast for the table, I'm gonna eat that shit. Right? Because it's a fun situation for me to be in. And it would be like, oh, this is a treat that I don't really do too often. And that's right for that situation, right? It's not right. It doesn't fit me to go out and do it every day, but it does fit me to do it once in a while on occasion when I'm celebrating with my friends. So I think for you, I think the key is to have a little bit more flexibility. And, I think one of the reasons you loved getting the vegetables delivered was because you felt like you were being good, right? Now you're not eating vegetables, so you feel like you're being bad, or there's a judgment about it in some way.
Yeah, I feel like I'm lazy.
Yeah, right. You're judging yourself. Instead, you could make this a really fun time of curiosity, and you could get curious about what you want today. So within your 3 or 4 meals that you eat, I think just kind of checking in and exploring, okay, what do I want right now? Sometimes a cookie at the end of a meal is what you want, and sometimes it's not. And having this relationship with yourself and being able to be really fully tuned in and eating the cookie and eating the food and noticing how it tastes, and then noticing when it stops tasting as good and stopping then, is not only going to help you get to your ideal weight, but it'll also help you have a better relationship with your body. And that's what I think every woman in this class, and I think every woman wants, is to have a closer relationship with her body. Because if we did, the body knows, like, when we get sick, when we get a fever, we can't really eat. That's the body's way of saying, I don't need food right now. I've got to get this out of my system. So our body is so, so wise. And women for eons have been listening to their bodies to know what to eat, or, how much to move, or, things like that. And it's just, kind of in the last 100 years that we've become so disconnected from our bodies because, we have all this outside stimulation and whatever. So I think just kind of checking in with your body and like maybe putting your hand on your heart and going, what do I want to eat right now? What would make me feel totally satisfied? What would make me feel healthy? What would make me feel great for the next couple of hours? And going with that and using it more as like, doing it more as like an experiment, as a playful thing, and not focusing so much on getting to your ideal weight, because that happens when you're happy and you're having fun and you're relaxed and you're not stressed. And what happens when you're criticizing and judging yourself? It makes you stressed, right? And you inevitably overeat when you're criticizing and judging yourself. I find that trusting my body's intuition, and I think what you'll find is that when you start to trust, oh, this doesn't taste good anymore, but you've done so much tapping, it'll be easy for you to push it away. You're kind of at the place now where that'll be easy for you to just stop and walk away from it.
Well, it should be, except that, again, it's just, it's like I know that moment. It's sort of like, oh, I should be pushing this food away. And I just don't feel like it.
Okay, and that's your rebel. And so you can either use echo tapping to work with it or not, and that's your choice. You still have a lot of food rules. It's good or bad. I'm either being good or I'm being bad, and you've got to stop that. Like,
but what's the key? Is it like the anger thing? Is it?
You just got to make all food legal. This isn't even a tapping thing. This is just the way you're organizing what food means what. All food is legal. There's no off-limit foods. Once you allow yourself to have whatever you want, you'll eat foods, and then you'll start to feel like shit after you eat the shitty ones. And then you won't want them anymore. But that doesn't happen if you still have these good foods, bad foods thing. This isn't even a tapping thing. You can trust that you won't overdo it when you legalize all these foods.
Mm-hmm.
So that can be the anxiety. It's like, oh shit, I'm going to overdo it. And you can tap on that anxiety. Yeah. It's easy to fall back, especially when you are very goal oriented and you want to reach a goal. Then you can kind of go back to your old ways. But that's kind of why I want you to let go of the goal a little bit, so that you can let your body and your own internal wisdom kind of do this work for you. And I know I hate that answer. I know that answer sucks. But it's really, really true. And this is kind of a phase. And the first phase is legalizing all foods. And then once you legalize all foods, then you want to notice how each food tastes and be really tuned in every time you're tasting it. And then notice, okay, it doesn't taste good anymore, push it away. And then the more you do that, the more you train your body to go, oh, okay, well, all foods are legal, but I feel better when I eat this food.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The only way you will gain weight is if you eat them unconsciously. So if you're eating these foods and you're checking out and you're beating yourself up that you're eating them and you're not fully present with it, then yeah, it'll cause you to gain weight. But you won't if you're totally present and you're really enjoying it and you start to notice when the bites don't taste as good.